Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how to make these vegetarian quinoa and kale burgers. We're going to start off with making the quinoa, so use a little bit of olive oil in a pot, and then we're going to slightly toast a cup of quinoa, and this will yield about 2.5 cups of cooked quinoa. So then to our 1 cup of quinoa, we're going to add 2 cups of water. Basically, it's a 1:2 ratio quinoa to water. So let this come to a boil. And then once it's boiling, reduce the heat and leave it for 15 minutes. And then the water will evaporate and the quinoa will be cooked. So put a lid on it and set it aside for about 5 minutes. So then take half of a yellow onion and chop it up, and with a little bit of garlic to your taste, about 2 cloves or so. And we're going to sweat them in some oil. So that means cook them on medium heat. You don't want them to get brown, but you want them to get translucent. And then we want to cut up and yield 4 cups of cut up kale. I found that using kind of 5 of the leafy stalks made about 4 cups. And then add the kale to the onions once the onions are more or less translucent, and just cook it until the kale is nice, bright and green and soft. This took about 3 to 4 minutes for me. Then in a medium bowl, take 3 eggs and crack them, and then gently beat them. I just used a fork, no need to get out like a hand mixer or anything, a fork is good. And then once those are nicely beaten up, we are going to add 2.5 cups of quinoa. So at first I measured it and there's only a little bit left, so I just added the rest of it. And then add half a cup of Parmesan cheese and mix that around, let the egg kind of saturate the quinoa. And then we're going to add our kale, onion, garlic mixture. Then we're going to add half a cup of breadcrumbs. So I use the cornflakes, you can use panko or any other sort of breadcrumbs. And I gradually added it just to make it mixing easier, but you can do it all at the same time. So I used the same pan that I made the onions in, just kind of wiped it off, put some oil in there just to get it start getting hot, and then I added a little bit of seasoning to my quinoa mixture because it wasn't spicy enough. And make sure your hands are clean, obviously. Now you're going to start forming in your quinoa kale mixture into hamburger patties, and then add them into the hot oil and cook them for about 5 minutes on each side on medium heat, and then flip them over and then cook them again for another 5 minutes. And then they are completely done. So you can see they're nicely brown on both sides, they're completely cooked through, and then you can fry up the rest of the mixture. So this is what they look like. I just ate them on my own. My boyfriend liked having them in a little bit of ranch dressing, but I thought they were perfect on their own. You could put them in a bun and make an actual burger of it, but I thought they were delicious.